What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. Welcome back to another episode of Debunking Gun Myths. In this episode of Debunking Gun Myths, we're going to hurt some feelings today, guys. We're going to get some people upset. You guys read the title. You saw the thumbnail. There's really no beating around the bush with this one. In this episode of Debunking Gun Myths, the gun shoots low and left, or the gun is shooting low and left. No, it's not. No, it is not. I hate to break this to a majority of shooters, but chances are, if you're hitting low and left of where you're aiming, it is more likely than not going to be the firearm. It's probably not the sights. It's probably not anything along the lines of the trigger, anything like that. It is more likely than not that you are just yanking on the trigger, giving way too much trigger finger, and you are pulling low and left. It is you. It is a user error, okay? And it's perfectly fine because guess what? Since it's a user error, this means that your firearm isn't, in any sort of bad condition. Now, I'm not saying there aren't certain situations where some people did get a firearm that the sights, got past quality control and they're not aligned. I'm not saying that's never been a situation. I'm sure that's happened. However, in the majority of situations, it is going to be user error. The gun does not shoot low and left. You shoot low and left. And I'm sorry to say it. A lot of people really do not like hearing this phrase, especially when it comes out of my mouth, because I am an instructor. I've had to tell people this because people have came and taken my classes and they're shooting and they're like, I don't get why the gun's shooting low and left. I've had to explain to them, I'm sorry, guys, but you are not as good at shooting as you think you are, and the gun is not as bad as you want it to be. I'm sorry. You're shooting low and left, not the gun. And every single time I tell somebody that, you know what happens? They get offended. They always say, oh, well, you show me then. Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. And every single time I pick up their gun, I get a couple of reps in just dry firing with their trigger just so I have an idea of what the trigger's like. And then guess what? You know what I do? I don't put my trigger finger all the way in that trigger guard. If you guys are unaware of exactly how you should be pulling the trigger, your ideal placement for your finger is in between the first joint and the fingertip. So you want the middle of the first pad. That is ideally where you want to place your trigger finger at on the trigger. And then guess what I did? I just went slow. That was it. I've done this several times. Every single time I've done exactly that. And you know what's happened? Every single time I've hit bullseye. Every single time. I hate to break this to everybody. The gun does not shoot low and left. You more likely than not are shooting low and left. And it sucks to say, but you know what? I am here to just give you the simple solution. Again, watch where you're placing your trigger finger, plain and simple. Make sure you have a nice firm grip. That you're not just putting your left hand up here, basically just as a decoration. You want to actually have a nice firm grip with both hands and then just go slow on the trigger. That is all you have to do. And you will pretty much avoid going low and left entirely. Why? Because you are not going to be stuffing your finger so far in the trigger guard that it's going to pull you left. And you're not going to be yanking on the trigger so hard that it's going to pull you down and left anyways. Go slow. Take a breath. It's not that big of a deal to the point of people having to, blame the gun, blame the firearm manufacturers who produce thousands upon thousands of these guns without any single issue and accuse some of these manufacturers of just not doing their job, when in all reality, you just aren't shooting correctly. Again, this is going to hurt some people's egos, and I'm sorry about that. But guess what? This was something I had to be told too. This was something I had to be told when I first started shooting. And it hurt to hear. Believe me, it hurt my soul to hear it. But guess what? I took that criticism and I moved forward and became a lot better of a shooter. If you guys haven't seen my shorts on how well I actually shoot, you guys need to check it out because I'm putting like hundreds of rounds in fist-size holes. I mean, I put 50 rounds of 45 and made 50 rounds of 45 into a hole this big. I mean, you just get better the more you practice. The slower you go on the trigger, the less likely you are of moving. And again, the placement of your finger, very important. So again, guys, to sum it all out, just to summarize this, no, the gun is not shooting low and left. I'm sorry to break it to you. You're probably shooting low and left. Now, there are some possibilities where some firearms have gotten past quality control and they've had off sights. Yeah, sure. I'm not sitting here saying that has never happened because I would probably be lying to you because I'm not even really aware if it has or hasn't. But I don't put it I don't put it past some of these firearm companies. But more likely than not, you're probably just shooting low and left. The gun's not shooting low and left. A lot of shooters really hate to hear it, but they really need to be humbled here. They need the humility. And remember, they're not as good as they think they are, and the guns aren't as bad as they want them to be. But with that being said, I do think that about wraps it up for this video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether or not you agree with me about my thoughts on, on the myth of the guns shooting low and left, if you disagree with me on this, I'm not trying to be rude here, but chances are you probably shoot low and left and are upset that I pointed it out. But go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. Make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.